Hello everyone, it's Baldy Chris, and this is the Witness beam by beam. This is now going to be beam number 9. We've just lit up the jungle beam. You can see very nice gathering of beams up at the top of the mountain now. For this episode, it's going to be the quarry area. Which is over in this direction. We should be able to actually access it through the shady trees area, I believe. As long as I don't run into solid trees. Yes, we should be able to access it through here if I'm remembering things right. Yes, we did manage to open up some of the routes across in a previous episode. There is another way in through gates over here which require different codes to get in, or not codes so much as puzzle solutions to get in. I think actually I will try and unlock those in case anyone's doing these videos in a different sequence and wants to access through that way. Let's just open that one up again. Oh, and we've got a viewer. Hello, viewer. Have you played The Witness before, or are you just checking it out? Okay, so here's another one of the ways into this area, and it's a puzzle type we've seen before. It's simply separating the colours from each other. Doesn't look to be too hard. There we are, all the white ones have been kept separate. Let's open the first of the gates. And then this second gate tends to cause a lot of trouble. It is a puzzle type that I've covered off before in this series. But if you're seeing it for the first time, it'll definitely come as a surprise. So the key to these puzzles is binding a shape that includes the Tetris pieces shown, but as you can see from what I've drawn there, not necessarily in the positions they're actually shown, just as long as they're bound by the shape. That should be satisfactory. So there we are. Now we're into the area, and there's two discrete areas in here. There's what's in this building, and there's what's over in the shed. I'll try taking on this one first. I think that can only be opened from the other side. So we've got a couple more puzzles to get let in over here. Again, we've got separating out the different colours. Slight difference here that we've got to finish at the top of the screen. I think for that reason I'll start at the, well, there's a choice, you can finish at the top or the bottom, and because there's only one white piece down at the bottom, I will try finishing down there. That should work for that one. And then on the second puzzle, need to draw a route through all of the smaller hexagons, of which there's quite a few here. Looks like it does need to be an upwards move first of all. There, I think that covers it. It does. Nice and easy to get that side door opened. So we've got one panel there, I'll come back to that in a moment. Another panel out to a back door. Well, actually, it might be a staircase rather than a back door. There we are. It is both a staircase and a back door. I think up here takes us to the desert ruins area, which we haven't actually covered in this series yet. And there's also a lift just there that has to be activated from a different part of the area. See the power line that would activate it there. Runs inside here. And then we've got the laser we need to activate over there. I'll pop up and have a quick visit to that. If I hit the staircase properly, I will. Okay. So we can see that there is room to start and finish a puzzle, although it is incorrect. And then there's two physical obstructions to the panel that are blocked off by little doors with power leads attached to them. So, as I said earlier, we've got two separate bits to unlock here. So, I think we can work out what happens when each of the individual areas has been completed. So, let's go back down into the factory area. And there really isn't very much opportunity to do anything other than attempt this puzzle here. Now the puzzle type is one with hexagons, and as before, the idea with the hexagon puzzle is to go through all of the puzzle, all of the hexagonal pieces, and it's simply not possible to complete here. But in addition to the hexagon, we've got the I don't know really what to call it, a peace sign. And the peace sign is quite odd in that it signifies that you must make one mistake in the puzzle. So for this particular puzzle, it can be completed in either of the two ways I've just shown, which will incorporate exactly one mistake in both instances. And what it does is, again, it's another one of these sort of physical manifestation ones. So I've now drawn a ramp that's up. So the ramp is now up as opposed to down, allowing us access to these puzzle panels over here. So in this instance, we've got the hexagon, which is easy to go through, but what we haven't done is made a mistake. So the peace sign was flashing red there. Now I haven't gone through the hexagon, so that's one mistake made, and it accepts that it is a valid puzzle solution. It can be a little hard to get your head around making deliberate errors in this game. So again, we're looking to make one mistake, so that should work. Or does it? No, it doesn't. For some reason, why doesn't that work? How about that? There we go. Now that one looks substantially more complicated. We can't possibly do both of those, at least not in that sweep. Actually, no, it can be done. So that would solve the hexagons, but it doesn't account for the one mistake that needs to be made. Let's try that. There we are. Okay, like I say, can be a little confusing trying to figure out how to make the mistake. So we haven't got the little peace sign in this one, so this time we do need to visit all the hexagons to get a valid solution. And now this time we need to miss one out. Might be a little tough to miss out exactly one, considering the setup here. That is going to be tough. What about that? There we are. So now it's lit up the little panel over here. It's not actually what I wanted to do. Let's go stand in front of the panel, that's probably easier. Again, this is another physical representation one. So this is now essentially drawing a lift. So it should now raise me up to the next section. Which it does. And I can make myself look like the cover of Nirvana's In Utero if I do that. Just look at my own shadow. And similarly can make it look like I'm a king holding a scepter or something as well. But that's not the intent of the area. So those are the same two controls for just down there. We've got a new set of puzzle boards up here. And we've also got one to operate this staircase as well. I'm going to try and trigger that. So this one needs to separate out the colours. Don't need to start at the top. But because there's a peace sign, there needs to be one mistake, so it's a fairly obvious one to include along with the oranges. And that should hopefully do the trick. You can see as well we've essentially drawn a staircase as the solution. So now we can get back down to the lower level if required. So this one needs to have a mistake made on it, so I'm not going to separate the colours. So the red one was a mistake because it was included. This time I'm going to separate out the middle red one but leave the top red one, which should give us the requisite separation and non-separation. Again, one mistake to be made. Well, there is only one green one, so I'm just going to leave it unsegregated. There we go. And sort of fairly similar. This time we do need some separation, but one mistake as well, so that should suffice. And this one probably won't be so easy. So one mistake needed. Right, how to go about doing that one? Well, the area that includes the jack has got one mistake in it, but unfortunately the areas other than that have got mistakes in as well, so that's not going to work. What about that? So I managed to keep 3 greens outside and 1 in the same area as the peace sign. So yeah, that one was a little trickier. This one is a very similar looking puzzle, but it's changed one of the reds to a green. So I doubt I'd be able to get away with the same solution. Might be able to get away with a very similar solution though. That would work, wouldn't it? It would. Good stuff. And now we've got additional colours thrown into the mix. So I think I'll just try and leave the turquoise and the green outside, put the blue inside, and that should work. Okay, that I think works. We've got 1 red in with the greens, but otherwise colours separated. So that is right, so lit up a panel over here. Which oddly has got 2 power lines coming out of it. Looks like it can only have 1 solution there. Right. How is this going to work? So I want all the hexagons have got to do that. Which offers almost nothing in the way of colour separation. I don't think that's going to work at all. It didn't. Okay. Might have been onto something there. So that has separated the colours, and the mistake is leaving one of the hexagons. I think that should work. Which it does. So what have we powered up there then? So we've got the power line leading out through the roof, which I think will go to the laser area. Not 100% sure what the one leading downstairs does. Oh, there is also another puzzle on the back of the door if you want to get that one done for completing all the puzzle panels in the game. Does it light up? And that goes out the front window. Okay, so that's the one that leads up to the laser. What does the one on the roof do? Leads to the lift, I think. So yeah, that's where it comes out, and yes, it heads up to the lift. I've got one of the Dorito puzzles here that we have encountered before. So only one triangle in that first square, meaning it can be drawn past, the square it's in can be drawn past on one side only. So that should satisfy that. Again, the lift I think is one of the physical representation puzzles. Okay, yeah, so I have solved that to bring us down to the ground level. Not 100% sure I remember the purpose of the lift, other than perhaps just a way to get from this area up to the desert ruins. Okay, so off into the wooden shed rather than the stone shed now, and see if I can't get this area working again. So we've got some of our old friends, the Tetris puzzles, and the colour separation puzzles, or rather the star puzzles. The stars, if you remember, needed to be in pairs, which so far they are, but may not be for much longer. If only I didn't have to exit in the other corner, that would have worked. No, that doesn't work because we've got a single black star. That's a bit better. That's paired again. That I think works. Does it not? I really thought it did. There. I think I had a triple white star rather than a double white star at some point. I think that might be the one. Still no. Where is that not working? That's 2. That's 2. Okay. That's definitely not going to work. What about that? Just sort of checking this over myself. That looks like it works. It does. Jolly good. Right, and then Tetris pieces where the top of the two Tetris pieces can be rotated, but the three-piece can't. Okay, how's that going to work? With the additional constraints of the broken grid lines. Yeah, actually that shape doesn't work. That shape is correct, I think. Actually, it's not quite. That shape would be correct, but I can't draw my way out of it to the exit. And that shape would be correct, except again I've blocked myself into a corner and I've managed to not include the three-piece within the drawn area. There, that I think is correct. So the T piece would appear as a capital T in the top left with the three piece nestled underneath it. So that should have powered on something in the area, which it has. This is another one of the physical manifestation ones. It can be solved to be either flat or vertical. I don't know if it actually does go completely vertical, but while it's raising, it's enough to get me up to this platform. No, it doesn't go completely vertical. Okay. Right, what do we have here? So I need to encompass all those shapes, but with one mistake. So for the purposes of this one, if the two pieces there and the three piece is across the bottom, that four piece still doesn't have enough room. I also have excluded the peace sign part of that puzzle, so we just have a quick count up. So that's 4, 7, 9. And 9 squares in total. So only one square is going to be missed out in the solution. Obviously that particular configuration didn't work. There's only so many squares that can be missed out, so I'm just experimenting rather than trying to do the tessellation here. That still doesn't work somehow. Right, maybe it's simpler than I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's a one dot mistake. The shape I've just drawn there has got the 3-piece running along the top, and the 2-piece. Actually, that isn't quite right. Let's do that again. The 2-piece is in the bottom left with the 3-piece running across the top, so that area should be okay. And then the 4-piece simply isn't encompassed in the shape I've drawn, which is the one mistake I'm allowed. So there we go. So that shape encompasses the 2 dots, the 2 little squares, so that's correct. And then the bigger space is obviously nothing like correct as far as the dots are concerned, which is my one mistake. Okay, I've got the horizontal 4-piece is included. This might be a step too far, and then the rest of it doesn't include the vertical 4-piece. No, it didn't like that. Okay. This one again might be very much simpler than I was trying to make it. So the vertical 4-piece is correct, the horizontal 4-piece isn't. Much better, right. Okay, that actually works for all the shapes I've drawn. So there's no mistakes in there, so I don't think that's valid, unfortunately. I can't see that leading to a solution at all. Don't like these ones where it has to make you redraw the previous puzzle. I think that's mean. Okay, so the L piece and one of the 2 pieces are the bottom 6. And then the single dot is included. The upper 2-piece isn't drawn. Don't know if that counts as just one mistake. Apparently it does. Or it's saying that my mistake was the single dot. But either way, it accepted it. And I really don't like trying to envisage the non-solid shapes. Two of those together is a square, but unfortunately I can't see any way to actually draw 2 together to make a valid square. If they're off to the edge I could do it. You can't actually draw them individually. Nope, didn't like that. Trying to envisage what those pieces would look to those two pieces could look together like if they were put together not as a square, but I don't think I can draw it, unfortunately. No, I can't. That's relatively close, if it wasn't for that square there. So there's a couple of viewers at the minute. If you you want to jump in with some possible solutions to these puzzles, you're more than welcome. I don't feel that's valid at all. Ah, I think maybe I've got an idea, actually. There, if those two pieces were to sit together, just nestled up, they would form a more traditional Tetris piece. So I think that the top area is valid, and then the bit that's not bound is completely not valid, but that's taken care of by the little peace sign. Haha! Now I can get all the way over to here. Okay, so this is another physical manifestation bit which will hopefully allow me to, well, basically raise this gate and get across to the other side of the platform. Just having trouble putting it together. Okay, so that's a valid solution. What's it changing? Ah, right, I see, it's moving that ramp along. So I guess I need it to move a little bit further along and step onto it as it's going. Not quite quick enough off the mark there. Let's bring that back a little bit. Might give me a little bit more time. That should stop pretty much behind the panel. Okay. There we are. Right, so this puzzle type we need pairs of stars, but there's only 3 of them, so I think that's the one error we're going to be allowed there. I think that should, a similar solution should work again. Does it not? Why didn't that work? Ah, it's the symbol is the same colour as the stars. So does that work? Yes, it does. So yeah, we've got a pair of stars, an extra star which is wrong, but that's cancelled out by the peace sign. Right, so there's 3 orange stars bound in the one space there, which would be wrong, so that's an acceptable error, or the enforced error. That's unfortunately not correct. The bottom space, actually the bottom space doesn't contain an error. It's the pink symbol would have matched with the pink star. Okay, again that's still not going to work, because I've got a single orange star on its own at the top, which is an error, but I've already put an error into the bottom space as well. So too many errors there. Okay. Again, that's still not going to work. This one is trickier, I'm having trouble seeing this one for sure. top space is correct. Not so sure about the bottom space. I think that just about works. We've got a pair of pink stars, a pair of orange stars, an extra orange star, which is an error, and the symbol for the error. Yes. Very tricky to wrap your head around these sometimes. This one I think might be deceptively simple. Simply pairing up the colours should work, although maybe they also have to have an error as well. They would appear to have an error as well. Okay, so now the error being that the colour's wrong. Yep, that was certainly hard to see. Not quite. The central section's got 4 stars in it, so that won't count. No, still got the central 4. There we are. I think that's it. Got 3 stars in the left column, which is wrong, but we're meant to have an error in there. And the other sections have all just got paired stars in. And not going to get away with that again, although maybe I can draw the shape in reverse. There, I think that did it, didn't it? Or did it? Did it not? No, it did. Why didn't that work? I thought I had it there. Ah, right, okay, okay. There. So I think I've got paired stars apart from in the top left corner where there's 3 of them, but that also encompasses the error sign. Right, and that bottom section, the 4 piece is in there correctly, the 3 piece isn't, but that's the one error. But yeah, unfortunately, odd number of stars, so can't pair them, so the error has to be with the stars. Which is going to be difficult to do, I think. Or is it? Yeah, that doesn't work at all. Shapes are right. The pairing of the stars is correct outside the shapes. A single star inside the shape is incorrect. I just can't draw myself out of it. It's incorrect and needs to be incorrect. So can I draw that shape otherwise? Yeah. That does it, doesn't it? Yay. Right, so I think this time the error simply needs to be with the shapes, because we have got pairs of stars. So I think that'll work. I've got the 4-piece in across the bottom, the 3-piece is not correctly placed, which is the acceptable error, and the stars are paired. Thought we might have been done there, but it's another puzzle panel board. Okay, what we got this time? So the way I read that is that the star needs to be the error because there's only a single star. But it's going to be very difficult to put that star in the same bound shape as the peace sign, while at the same time also drawing around those shapes. Didn't think that was going to work somehow. Right, so that's the shapes bound. I wonder whether it counts the star and the peace sign as being in the same area. No. I have an idea of sorts. So the two 3-piece shapes are, or the horizontal 3-piece shapes are bound by the line I've drawn. But that essentially means 2 errors in the top bit, with the star and the shape not both being incorrectly done. Again, that's right with the shapes, but somehow not managing to get the star in the same place as the peace sign. It's still not. That is just madness on my part, I think. That shape would be correct, except I've missed out half the shapes. I feel like the vertical 3-piece has to either run down the left or down the right to try and encompass the other shapes that we need to or the other symbols that need to be included here. Otherwise, it's going to be a physical barrier that separates them. That might actually be closer than I think. Yeah, I like that. So I've got the three pieces, the vertical three pieces central, contrary to my previous prediction, with the two horizontal pieces sort of tacked onto the bottom left and the top right, and I think that does it. Oh, okay. So we've got an odd number of stars here again, so feels to me like I'm going to have an error with the stars. Okay, so I think the shapes are correctly bound there. There's a pair of stars bound in with them as well, and then a single star outside, which is the enforced error. Yep, okay. So this time round we do need to pair the stars and do the shapes wrong. Which again I'm struggling to see how to do. Don't think that's going to count somehow. Not quite. Again, that's definitely not right. Definitely struggling to see this one. Nothing like correct. So that was similar to one of the earlier solutions, but unfortunately that means the shapes are correct and there needs to be an error in them, and I've also got some single stars as well. No, that's definitely not it. Yeah, again, do feel free to jump in with possible solutions because I am struggling here. Which is unfortunate, as I think we're quite close to solving the area. And that would almost work if I'd got two of the three shapes bound by it rather than just one on the right hand side, I mean. Again, if the right hand shape actually encompassed two of the three shapes, that'd be a winner. Total travesty there. Again, not close to correct. What about that? I've got the two horizontal pieces are correctly bound in there, and the vertical piece isn't. No, not quite. That sort of felt close to correct. Sort of. It's not going to take that, is it? The bottom area would be correct. Top area is not. And I can't see a way to put a vertical three-piece in the top area doing that kind of thing. What about that? Pair of stars on the right, pair of stars on the left, the vertical three-piece totally wrong, and the two horizontal three-pieces correctly bound. Get in! Took a while, but we got there. Right, and then this must be the very final bit, so... Not 100% sure what we're doing with this one. Right. I have an idea though. So the four dots on the left are correctly bound, the one on the right is correctly bound, the other one isn't. That's an allowable error. Has that completely opened up the area now? Let's find out. It looks like we've got a power cable leading away from it for sure. Did look like it did something with these hooks here, but maybe not. So yeah, I think now it's just a question of heading up to the laser area. And then we should get to light it. Oops. If I can remember the actual route there. Which clearly I haven't. Left the area completely there. Right, there we are. Yeah, it looks like the puzzle panel is open. Unfortunately, it's not quite as straightforward as just drawing a line this time round, like some of the laser lighting ones are. Oops. That can't be right because the shape is correct and it needs to be incorrect. What about just adding a bit onto the side? Don't suppose that's going to count, is it? Nope. Two errors rather than one, unfortunately. No error at the bottom. Oh, actually, that might have been close to the truth. So that the single square is bound off, which is correct, and the bottom shape is not at all, so that's the allowable error. I think that's it done. Yeah, should be getting the trophy pop. There we are, trophy for Quarry. And the laser should be firing off towards the mountain sometime soon. Or perhaps not, there's one of them that doesn't actually. Okay, well that certainly does appear to be fired off in the correct direction anyway, over on top of the mountain. So there we are, that is now the 9th beam lit up in this series of beam by beam, so there's only 2 more areas left to go. We will have the desert ruins area, which is just over the other side of that ridge, and then the central town area, which is there in the immediate field of vision. The town area I'll probably leave till last, simply because it encompasses puzzle panels from all of the other areas in the game, which is why it's a little unfortunate when you are playing the game. It's quite an obvious area to go to early on, because you kind of stumble onto it quite early on, but the truth of the matter is at that point you don't know how to solve the majority of the problems that are actually housed in the town area. Hopefully after doing all the other 10 areas there should be enough for a simple area. But that's it for this stream, so if you like what you've seen, and we've had people watching almost throughout in silence, but thank you for your time watching anyway. So if you like what you've seen, drop me a follow on Twitch, BaldyChris2021, or check out some of the content I've got over on YouTube, which is just under the username BaldyChris. But hope to see you in either place sometime soon. So for now, look after yourselves, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.